If you're a DJ and you're looking for the next angle to make your video super wicked cool, or maybe you're a creator and you're looking to make a really cool OBS Countdown Timer, this demonstration is going to blow you out of the water. The tutorial that I'm about to explain to you is a new feature that I just learned because Exeldro just reached out to me and let me know of this little cool filter that is available that will do the following. Check out this demonstration. It's 100% OBS. Check it out.
Once again.
Yep, OBS Studio is a music visualizer. I'm going to show you how to change position, size, and apply a filter to the beat of music. Let's get some. Electrify your online presence with live streaming. This channel provides education on live streaming tools and techniques that give you the recognition and reward that you deserve. If you like what you hear, subscribe and click the bell for new video notification every single week. Dude, let me tell you, I have been searching high and low for a solution where OBS would control the movement of sources based on the song that you assign. And I've been looking on the forums high and low. I've been looking for scripts, plugins, tools. There was nothing out there, but you know, I saw people talking about move transitions and how much of a fantastic plugin it was by Exeldro. So I kind of gave up on trying to find a solution for that and just out of a whim started doing tutorials on the move transition, not thinking much of it at the time. And after some research, I saw that you could do some really cool stuff with hotkeys and moving sources. So I tried to sort of connect the dots and apply that philosophy where you're moving stuff to the sound of music using hotkeys. And so I made this super elaborate tutorial. It was the last one I posted. You can find it right here. It taught me a whole lot of cool stuff about controlling hotkeys and the characteristics of movement and everything. It was really cool, but it still didn't connect the dots. It still didn't do it automatically. And about 2 days after posting the video, Exeldro chimed in with a comment. It was an atomic bomb of a comment because what he told me was that he said there is a filter that can be applied in the audio section where you can assign movement to sources. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? This came out of nowhere, you know? So it was like a oh my God moment when the comment came in. I went in and started researching it, and here we are. So it is my goal to give you that sort of global perspective on how this thing works. So what we'll do is cover how to apply the filter to a source within a scene so that when the music plays, it controls its motion. Here we go. Let's go. Okay, we are talking about the Move Transition plugin, and if you don't have it installed on OBS, I did make a video that you can click here and get instruction on how to do it. Exeldro is an excellent programmer. He doesn't skip a beat. He makes it extremely easy to install the plugin. If you'd like a link to the plugin itself to download it, you can find it in the description. Upon installing the Move Transition plugin on OBS Studio, open up OBS and create a brand new scene. I created one called Scene 0 by clicking the plus sign here. I'm going to go into the source box now and add a music track and a color source, and we're going to make the color source dance to the music track. But I want you to get the general gist, the global perspective on how to add the filter and what that process is so that you understand how to apply this. So let's go in and click the plus sign under sources and add a song. So I'm going to go into the media source and type in the song, hit OK, and I'm going to choose the soundtrack. Now, when choosing a song for this, I highly recommend you go with a song that has a prominent bass and or drum beat. I would stay clear of music that has a lot of sound in it. You know, like heavy metal or something like that, where it's all just, you know, like it doesn't have a prominent beat going on. That way you can see the motion that you're applying to it, okay? So I'm going to choose this song. You'll know what I mean when I select it and play it for you. I'll hit open, and I'm going to check off the loop and hit OK. Now, in the audio mixer, you can't hear anything, but you can see that the levels are moving on the song. And just take that slider and move it back so that it never touches the red. It just stays in yellow. There it goes, right about there is perfect. In order to hear the song, you click the gear on the lower right-hand corner of that track, go into Advanced Audio Properties, find the song, there it is right there, the lower one, and select Monitor and Output, and you'll hear the song, and you'll hear that prominent beat or drum. Now you can turn off the song by this playhead, and you can stop and start the music at will, which is really great. I believe this is a new feature for OBS, fairly new, so it's a great one to have, because if you didn't have a way to stop the music, you would literally go nuts, you know, when you're building this stuff, because you have to play the songs over and over again just to see the effects. Thankfully, you can turn off the music. Okay, hit the plus sign again, and we'll add a color source. And this time we'll name it Red Box. Hit OK. Choose red for the color. Hit OK again. And then hit OK again. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and drag down one of the corners here and just crop it so it looks like a normal square and put that dead center in the screen. Now the fun begins, because we're going to add the filter to the song. So I'm going to right click on the song, go into Filters, click the plus sign underneath Audio Video Filters here, and select Audio Move. This filter does not exist unless you have the Move Transition plugin installed. Select it, and we're going to name it Red Square after the Audio Move text here. Hit OK, and we're presented with all the parameters. Now the key here is to make the motion and attach it to the source. What you have to do is select the scene, we're in scene 0, and the source, which is going to be Red Box. And that's how you do it. That's how you attach a move filter to a source within a scene. Now we're going to get into how to physically move this stuff and how to arrange the sources on your bounding box so that it looks right. Okay, let's talk about the meter type. I'm a little fuzzy on these. I know what magnitude does. Peak sample and peak true kind of do the same thing, but the input peak sample and input peak true, I'm not sure. I have an idea what they do. I haven't figured it out. I believe there's a way to designate the frequency amount and have it triggered based on a certain amount. So that means that if you have a cymbal go off, it triggers on the cymbal versus going off on the bass kick based on the frequency. So I know Exeldro told me that it's possible. I couldn't figure it out, and I believe that that's what this does. Hopefully some of you may know what this is. You make a comment and the light bulb goes off on my head and I figure it out, and then I make a second video. We'll see what happens. In most cases, you're going to want to select either magnitude or peak true. Okay, that's what I know so far. Easing applies to the speed of the movement. So if if an object's doing this, right, it's going up and down on the y-axis. If you have easing set to 0, it's going to be super jittery, like really kind of funky, like really jittery on a robotic level. The more that you increase the easing, it starts to slow down and be more humanistic, okay? That's basically what easing does. Action is pretty cool. Transform means that all these transform parameters below apply, and you can position your source on the x-axis, you can move it on the y, you can rotate it, you can apply scale. I'm not super sure what bounds does. I haven't played with it yet. If you know what that means, let me know in comments. And then we have all these cropping parameters, okay? So that's what transform means. If you do the second one, which is setting, I'm super duper fuzzy on what this is. If you have any idea what setting does, let us know in comments. If the light bulb goes off in my head, I swear I'll make another video to explain it. If you know what it means, let us know. Source visibility, this one's cool. If you select it and you designate your scene in source, it turns the source off and on based on other parameters, okay? So it flickers the source, which is super cool. And in this demonstration, I applied that to a lot of stuff. The next one is the filter enable. This is cool too. This is where you apply a filter to the source, and the magnitude then turns that filter on and off. So if you change the color, or if you have a chroma key assigned to it, you can apply those filters as an actuation for the filter. It's wicked cool. So those are your actions, and I'll select transform here so that we can see the transform parameters. Of course, we know what the scene and source information is. The base value. I will explain this. This basically controls the starting point of the source, and when you apply some of these transform parameters, it will automatically move the source to a specific area, and you need to apply a base value to get it close to where you want to see it in the window for OBS. So we will touch on this as well. Factor, I believe, is the volume of motion, so it increases the motion when you turn the factor up. Okay, now let's apply some of the things that I applied in the demonstration to show you how this thing will actually work. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna move a source according to left or right, or the x-axis. Let's try an image this time just for fun. So we'll hit the plus sign in sources, go to image. I will select IMG for image and type in the word DOG for dog. I'll hit OK. I'll go into browse here real quick, and I will select the image of a dog, which is right here. I'll hit open. There he is, look at him. Hit OK. And I will move this source dead center in the screen, okay? Take note of that position. All right, let's go into the song now. We'll right click it and go into filters, go to plus again, go into the audio move filter, and then we'll type in DOG. Hit OK. And we're gonna use the meter type of magnitude, okay? The easing we'll let go. We'll experiment with that in just 1 second. Action's gonna be transform. We're gonna select scene 0, because that's what we're in now, scene 0. And we're gonna select the dog, image dog. And transform, we will select position X, which is horizontal, left to right. And let's hit the close window here, and let me show you what happened. Can you see how the image of the dog has been moved to the left of the screen here? If I try to select the dog, and you know it's selected when it has a red stroke around the image, and I try to move it from left to right, watch. I select it and I can't move it. Look at that. It doesn't go left to right, but it will go on the y-axis. So it's locked into this singular motion top to bottom for some weird reason, okay? Now I think the reason why that it's doing this is because you've designated movement from left to right, and you can no longer do it because the system's got it locked in to that motion parameter. So if you want to move it back to the center of the screen, go back into the filter in the song, right? And you have this base value parameter. So if I move the filter window over and start increasing that, so if I make it to say 200, as you can see, the dog starts to move to the right again. If I go to 500, looks like it's almost dead center now, maybe just a little bit more. Let's make it, I don't know, 700, see how it works out. There it goes, perfect. Now we're dead center again. So that's what the purpose of the base value is. It's a way to move the source so that it's positioned properly regardless of the transform parameter. So now let's do this. Let's leave this window open here. Can I shrink it down a little bit so we can see it a little bit better? Yeah, there we go. And I'll put it right here. And I'm going to hit the play button on the song, and let's see how it works out. All right. I'll turn down the music. Well, so isn't that interesting? The slider right here in the audio mixer has an impact on the amount of motion based on the volume. So the magnitude increases the amount of travel based on volume. Watch, when I turn it up real loud, it's going to really start moving pretty far across the screen. Watch. Okay, now you can overcome this by increasing the factor. That's what the factor is. And so it's basically increasing the power of the volume even though the volume's not turned up. So if I go into the factor right now and type in 7,000, see it starting to move? If I put in, let's say I put in 9999. Let's put another 9 in there. There it goes. Let's put another 9 in. Now it's really kicking. But yet the volume in the audio mixer has been turned almost down to nothing. That's what the factor does. And I wasn't really sure about that initially, but now we know the truth. Now, if you want to see how it's real jittery, it almost looks robotic. It doesn't even really look like motion at all, actually. It is moving, but that's where this parameter called easing comes into play. So the more I turn that up, now it'll begin to chill out a little bit, see? Now it's starting to slow down and you can actually begin to see the motion. Now, because the factor's been turned up so high, it's going off screen. So we could probably take off a 9 or 2 here, and let's see what happens. There we go. Not bad. So the motion is controlled by both the factor, the audio mixer volume, and the easing. And so basically you want to leave the filter window open the whole time so that you can adjust the way that you want to see the motion with those various parameters. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the size parameter. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to work with scale now. I'm going to show you some things that may trip you up, and so we're going to remove all the filters and sort of start from square one on this just so that you understand what could happen for you. So we're going to go back into the song, right click on it, go into filters. We're going to click the plus sign under audio video filters. We're going to select audio move just like before. We'll hit OK. Then we'll select the scene of 0 and we'll select the image dog source, and then we're going to select transform scale, which means we're going to make it larger on both the X and Y axis at the same time. If I take the filter window here and drag it over so that we can take a look at the preview screen, you'll notice that the source image of the dog is gone. And that's because if you look at the base value here, it is set to 0. In this case, that number represents a multiplier in regards to size. If I was to hit number 1, it would show the image of the dog at its normal size. And there you have it. Okay, if I was to hit 100, it would be 100 times its size. We don't want that. So this should default to 1 when you select scale. That's just a little tweak that needs to be fixed by Exeldro. No big deal. I just wanted to make sure that you understand what happens when the image goes away when you set this thing. So let's hit the play button and see if it works. Okay, works good. The only downside to scale is that the scale is being created from the upper left-hand corner and growing out this way. That's a little bit funky. There's no other workaround as far as I can see at the moment. Maybe this will get fixed down the road. If I go into the transform while this thing is playing and select Y, scale Y, you'll see that the dog grows from the tall perspective. If I select X, for some reason, scale X does not grow it wide. I don't know if it's a bug. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a glitch, I think, and it is what it is. I'm sure down the road it will be addressed. So that's scale. Now we'll briefly talk about the rotation transform, and the base value now pertains to where the image should be turned before the animation is actually executed. So in other words, here's the dog, and if I make the base value 180, it should rotate him upside down. But what happens is the rotation point is the upper right hand corner. So if you make it 1 again real quick and go into the song and turn the volume up on the song, you'll see that he's rotating on that upper left hand corner. I just wanted to let you know where the rotation is occurring from. Okay, now we're going to show and hide the source based on the beat. Go back into filters, select source visibility in your actions pull down. And then we want to select our scene, of course, and our source, which is the dog. And the threshold action appears as a new pull down. Select enable over and disable under. And then we will play our music. And I don't have it playing right now. It is playing, but it's not being able to be heard. And this little threshold button, if you slide it ever so slightly, it'll begin to turn off and on according to the beat, which is super cool. You can do all kinds of neat stuff with this effect. The following example will turn on and off a filter that is applied to a source. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I go into the song right now and hit the play button, you can see that color is being applied to the image source with the beat of the song. So how is this done? Well, first and foremost, you have to click the image source, go into filters and apply a filter. In this case, it's a color correction filter, which turns the image red. I'll hit close. Then I go into the song filter, and I've created an audio move, and I've selected the action filter enable. That's what does it. I go in and select the source, and upon selecting that source, it's going to give me a color correction choice here in this pull down, which is color correction. threshold is enable over and disable under, and then you adjust it with this threshold slider here. And that adjusts when the switch occurs based on the song beat. And so you have to kind of experiment with it. Look at that. Cool. Now, if you're a DJ or someone who wants to create a wicked cool countdown timer for OBS, you can add shaders to OBS with a plugin. It's called the OBS Shader Filter plugin. It's right here. I will see you over there. You don't want to miss it. It's going to make your live streams off the hook. Anyway, best wishes, stay strong and keep fighting. Yeah!